All right, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to check out some more info and photos that were released in the Idaho 4 case. So, boy, they just keep, I guess it was like 2,800 photos of the crime scene, but these crime scene photos are a lot better. And you know what? I see that a lot of the investigators are wearing booties, right? Foot covers. So that's not to leave any other footprints that don't need to be there. But let's check out the channel and the video of them going through some of these photos and everything. And I was watching Harsh Reality. I don't know if you guys watch his channel or not, or sub to his channel, but he's got some good points. Like today, he made a video saying that Kohlberger, might have done this, but he didn't use his own car. And you know what? He's right. Maybe that means he would have had to walk in. But here's the thing: we're not seeing any other cars come out of there or go into there. So how did he not use his own vehicle? But some good points on the channel that guy has. Make sure you check out his channel. He's from London or England or something. It's called Harsh Reality. So let's look at this video and go through some of these photos. And it's very interesting, you know. It's because there's so much blood going downstairs to Bethany's room and in the downstairs bedrooms and then back up, you know. So it kind of makes you believe, did he come in the back door and walk out the front? I mean, that's, because why would there be a blood pattern going downstairs? That's very interesting. So let's check out some of these photos. All right, let's rewind this thing
Pitbull para la cabeza. A fake the skull shaver.
Growth used to take time. Now it starts with a tap. Account opening in minutes.
See it? Did you see metadata in any of the photos that were released?
No. Well,
Okay,
I wouldn't even know how to look at metadata, but
it's there.
but I mean, as far as timestamps, no, there's nothing on there.
I'm gonna comment down below all you want, but if it was planted, so this doesn't prove that it wasn't planted, because there it is. There's a picture. There's a picture of a knife sheath on a bed. All right, it's a knife sheath. It's on a bed. We have no clue, when it was there, where it was there. What were you gonna say?
And I'm gonna speculate here. This is pure speculation. This is not to offend anybody, but this is just what I'm looking at right now. If you see the bottom of the bed here, it has like the sheet or something else. Maybe it's a cover, but yeah, there. It looks like maybe somebody could have reached under there, because that is the head and the shoulder part. So could it have been one of the victim's knives that maybe Maddie had it under her bed? I don't know, but this is pure speculation. It's not fact, but it just looks that way to me. But I have no idea because, I wasn't there. I don't know.
There's a better picture of it there. There's a better picture of it there with better lighting. And yeah, you can see that there would have been room to put something under the bed. And there have been talk that these girls had certain knives, and members of the fraternities had certain knives. So these are interesting pictures. I don't see why they were not released earlier, but I don't see them as really being dispositive.
Well, what we're not seeing on the bed is blood, and that is a perfectly crisp white sheet. No blood on the sheath, although there's a bloody leg on top of the sheath, and yeah, that's. But now they're trying to say, was that the girl's knife? Because a lot of the girls had knives to protect themselves in case of. I know one thing. When I talk to my daughter, I'm like, I want you to sleep and put a knife underneath the mattress. So if anything ever happens, you can grab that knife and defend yourself. And that's probably what a lot of these girls did. Was that now? I don't know if that's their knife, but they're saying, well, that's Kohlberger's. But this guy's bringing up or this lady's bringing up a good point. Did the girls have knives underneath the bed? I don't know. I know there's a good chance of it, but what we're not seeing on that crisp, clean bed, white sheets, is any blood. Hmm. I'm starting to wonder, this whole thing, was it staged? I mean, you have to remember, Ethan was in bed, right? Now, another thing I want to bring up, that thump that we hear in the camera next door to the house, 50 feet away from the house, you hear a thump. Now, was that him busting open up the door of Xana and Ethan's room? Because if she was running, don't you think she would have ran into her room? He's following her. She gets into the room and then slams the door shut, possibly locking it, and he breaks the door open or whatever. But what we're not seeing is anybody talking about, well, they made forced entry into the bedroom. And how did Ethan stay sleeping if he was found in bed and Xana's screaming, there's someone in the house or yelling? How does he not wake up? How does she not? How does it? How does he? How does she run into the bedroom and not say, "Ethan, get up! There's someone in the house." But he's already on top of him, and Ethan don't hear nothing. This is crazy. But see, what they should have did was cut a deal where he explained exactly what happened, because none of this is making sense. They're thinking, well, the girls upstairs were offed first, and then the blood trail leads from upstairs to her room, and then they're off. But if all this is happening and she's running through the house, that somebody's in the house yelling, and they can hear her downstairs on the first floor, how is Ethan not hearing nothing, and how is she not waking up Ethan?
Boy, that sheath looks awful new, doesn't it? It almost looks like the pictures that a lot of creators, including us, early on, downloaded from the Amazon.com page. You can actually go on Amazon.com and take a picture of a brand new, beautiful, perfect knife sheath. And that's what this looks like, doesn't it? It looks like brand new to me.
Yeah, it looks.
To my untrained eye.
Look at that, yeah.
So those are the pictures that you pulled out. The next thing we can go to is Yikes Stripes. This is the file that has all of the pictures, and the one that just happened to come up was this one. This is a familiar picture. We've seen this before, but that's the picture of the red stuff. Can we say blood now? I think that's a word that we couldn't say before, but now we can. We can say that. All right. Well, we'll find.
Or you can just say red stuff, you know.
We're going to find. I mean, the first time I started doing this stuff, I've only been doing this for 3 years, and the first time I heard people say words like unalive and red stuff, I said, "What?" Well, I learned my lesson.
Yeah.
So anyhow, this is
interesting.
Yeah.
It says 11/18/2022 from K. Hogan, blue Ford Prius.
A Prius is made by Toyota, right?
Prius is made by Toyota.
I know. I had a friend that had one and actually rode in it for a while. I was surprised with how nice the ride was.
Yeah, my ex-boss who passed away.
Vacuumed it with one of those evidence collection vacuums. You know what I mean? Yeah. They do the vacuuming, and everything that goes into a special container in the vacuum cleaner. So that's that. I don't know how much more. I mean, we could be here all day and all night showing. That's the trunk. But Eric Gower, of course, was the fellow who picked up Kaylee and Maddie at the food truck and drove them back to 1122 King Road the night that they were then murdered. So that apparently is the vehicle that they would have driven in.
Wow. So they pull in, they bring in the food truck guy or the dash door driver. Or no, it actually wasn't the dash door driver. This vehicle that they're looking at is the guy that they called from the bar to pick them up. And as they were on their way home, they stopped at the food truck, which we had a couple suspects at the food truck. If you remember, the two girls were arguing with one of them guys, and he also had bushy eyebrows, but he was shorter and more stock, more bigger. But this is actually the guy that picked him up from the bar to drive him home. So they brought in his car also and went through the whole car. So very interesting. But what are they trying to say here? Why would they bring him in for this? That's very interesting. It must have been covering all bases, right? They might have been thinking, well, maybe it was the guy that drove them home and dropped them off, and he pulled around and then waited for them to go to bed. And I don't know, maybe, but you can't explain away of how Kohlberger's DNA is on that sheath.
And so for their last ride, stuff in the glove compartment. I don't know if any of this stuff is relevant. Is it typical glove compartment stuff, or is there anything relevant in there? I really don't know. Do you?
I don't know. I mean, no.
Looks like a straw.
There's a mask in there. Look.
In there?
See the two ring right there. Looks like a mask.
Interesting. Interesting. Okay.
There's also, oh wait.
Jumper cables. I have jumper cables in my car.
Yeah, but people usually don't keep.
I don't know.
Cables.
I don't know. There was also some liquor in the back, and
usually people don't keep jumper cables in your console, in your car, in the middle console there. I got jumper cables. There's no way they would fit in there, and they look pretty thin. All right, so what we're looking at now is the trunk area. So what are they thinking here? What are they actually thinking where they brought his car in also? Very interesting. Now, a lot of people can't get around how there was no DNA found in Kohlberger's car. But you have to remember, Kohlberger had 2 weeks to clean his car spotless. And he would have had access to luminol. So, put 2 and 2 together. If this whole thing was planned by him, then it's very possible he had luminol already and, covered the seats with garbage bags, giant garbage bags that slide over the back of the seat, slide over the front seat, the bottom part, uh, plastic bags maybe on the. But you have to remember, he could have switched gloves and put a brand new set of gloves on before he got in the car. Uh, I know they only had one glove that they found at his house, a black glove, the same glove that the police officers were putting on. Koberger had. Why? Well, because he was going to school for forensic evidence and everything. So he would have had access to luminol, to all kinds of stuff. He does the murder. Afterwards, he sprays luminol in the car. Anything that glows, he cleans up. He's got 2 weeks to do it, if not longer, before they caught him. People find it hard to believe. How did they not find it? Well, he had 2 weeks. He knows exactly what chemicals to use to clean up and what it will take evidence out of there. Now, they did say something about chemicals I had, so maybe, who knows?
Beanie with hair. There it is.
That's a beanie?
Yeah, if you go down, you'll see. See, there's liquor there too.
I don't see the liquor.
Oh, go up. That one.
Oh, look at that.
Yeah.
Does that mean that he liked to have it pop while he was driving? Or does that mean that one of the, he liked to pick up college people and drive them home after the bars closed? Maybe one of the college people left it in the car and he threw it in the back.
I think that guy's probably right. He was probably driving all kinds of college kids all the time. And we all know that you get inside of a vehicle or whatever, you're possibly drinking a little tipsy and you forget stuff, right? You forget stuff. Let me tell you a little story of Led Zeppelin. Was it Led Zeppelin or Aerosmith? They got a little bit tipsy and they left the studio with the master tapes and they jumped in a cab. They were a little tipsy and stuff like that. Well, they left the cab, but what they left inside the cab was the master tapes and mixing tapes. Right? They had to do everything over again because they lost it in a cab. Still to this day, I don't think they found them tapes. Them are reel to reels, giant reel to reel master tapes from the studio. Now, either it was Led Zeppelin or Aerosmith that did that. They had to go back into the studio and remix everything and do everything all over again. So I can see how people are partying, whatever this Uber driver or whatever they call it is picking up these young kids and they got alcohol and they leave it behind and he throws it in his trunk. That makes sense to me.
You want to get stopped. Who knows?
And then there's another mask there.
Interesting. But they cleared him, apparently. They cleared him.
There's the beanie. Go up. That's the.
Yeah, look at that. Ski mask. Papers. More papers. Skittles. College kids like Skittles. Young people like Skittles. Is that the same bottle?
I can't say.
No, I don't know what that is.
A ski mask.
All right. More photos.
Yeah, go back up. There was something about looking up a student.
Whoa. Wait a minute. Was that a glove underneath the seat, a black glove? Is that gloves in here? That looks like the dashboard. Whoa, back up though, because I've seen a glove underneath a seat. And look at this. He's got spoons, like ladles, and stuff for cooking and stuff like that. I imagine he probably has a whole collection of all kinds of stuff when he picks people up and they forget stuff in the vehicle. But I seen a glove, and this guy said it was a ski mask, but maybe that's why they brought him in. Maybe.
That's a beanie?
Yeah, if you go down, you'll see. See, there's liquor there too.
I don't see the liquor.
That
Oh,
looks
go
like
up.
that looks like a pillow.
That one.
Oh, look at that.
Yeah.
Does that mean that he liked to have it pop while he was driving? Or does that mean that one of the, he liked to pick up college people and drive them home after the bars closed?
Beanie, go up. That's the.
Yeah, look at that.
All right, there's the beanie, black. Now I can't say that that's a ski mask. It might be. We're looking at the back side of it. The front side might be cut out, but I don't think so. I don't. We would hear more about this. And this is just. It does seem interesting why they brought him in though.
Ski mask. Papers. More papers. Skittles. College kids like Skittles. Young people like Skittles. Is that the same bottle?
No, I don't know what that is.
All right. More photos.
Yeah.
Right there. All right, and that is a black glove underneath the seat. So you got a black beanie or black ski mask, and you got black gloves. Very interesting. But they cleared him of it. They say he had nothing to do with it. But good thinking to bring his car in and check it, because I think they might have thought, well, maybe he did drop him off and hung around and waited for him all to fall asleep. But we see that car leaving in the videos and stuff. Well, that's very interesting.
Go back up. There was something about looking up a student. Let me put my.
I'm having a hard time. I think they
Find student.
Okay. I just made it as big as I can on my screen, and I can't really tell a whole lot.
Anyway, I thought that was interesting.
Yeah. Okay. Boy, they took a lot of pictures of that car.
Mm-hmm.
Glove. Black glove.
All right, another black glove. But I'm sure they tested it with luminol or whatever to make sure there was no blood on it. But black gloves are common. I got 4 sets myself. They're very common. Everybody's got black gloves. But them look more like winterized gloves for winter. Right? Winterized gloves. I do believe the killer had latex gloves on. Right? Because holding a knife with that kind of glove is very slippery. Very good chance the knife slide right out of your hand. So I think latex gloves were probably the killer's choice.
Well, I mean, in Idaho, it's kind of like over here in New Hampshire and Massachusetts, where I live and work. I mean, you have a glove. All right, these are the stairs, I believe, from the second floor to the third floor. I may be wrong about that, but stairs.
No, it's from the first. It's from the first floor.
Yeah, that's on the first floor because Bethany or Dylan's bedroom was back here. One of the girls' bedroom was back here. And then there was another one across the way here that you can't see. And this is coming in right from the door. You make a left and you go straight up the stairs. But in the photos I seen over at Harsh Realities channel today, that whole hallway was riddled with with tape where blood marks were, and they're saying, well, somebody went downstairs, that there was blood all over, leading downstairs. So yeah, very, very interesting. Very interesting.
To the second floor.
Okay, I stand corrected, and okay, because there's keys and beer cans on the stairs, and there is the search warrant right there.
Mm-hmm.
That's the search warrant right there.
The video is too quiet? Boost your volume up to 600% with Sound Pusher. Your browser caps audio.
Okay. Outside of the place. There's that photo again of the blood on the outside.
Such a sad case.
Yeah. There's that famous backslider. Same thing. More photos. They did their job. They took a lot of photos. I mean, and that's your job. I mean, when you first start investigating a scene, you don't immediately know exactly what you're looking for. So you take a photo of everything from every angle, every potential possible angle. And there's the police tape in the backyard. And they took pictures from every angle. So that, later on when things were relevant, you can pick the best photos for the jury. Now, that never happened in this case, but
yeah,
you can see the trash can. We've seen that before. Lights. Oh, boy.
There was a note that was on the ground. Let's see if it comes up.
Is that it right there?
It might be, but it's a closer up view. It may be further down, but I mean, there's so many pictures.
There it is.
We'll get over it.
Is that it?
I can't see if there's anything written on it.
Yeah, it's kind of hard to tell. Looks like it's folded up.
Mm-hmm.
There we go.
Oh, there we go. Okay. So it says
Mogan.
Right, but look.
They don't care what's written on it. The reason they're taking a photo of it, because you can see 2 drops of blood on the note. Actually, 3 drops of blood. So he walked out the back. Right? Because this is out the back door. Blood's dripping off of the knife and stuff. I don't know. I don't know how he had, someone had to go downstairs because there's blood downstairs on the first floor by the front door. Now, how did all that get there? I have no idea. And the blood on the floor, on the first floor by the door and by the girl's door. How did all that get there? He must have went downstairs. Whoever was there must have went downstairs, or these people were in the house and knew exactly that these people were dead and then went back downstairs to the room or whatever and waited in their room. I don't know. pretty crazy if you ask me.
Look at the word where look at where it's folded. It
Well,
says
all I see is a DIE.
right. Die Mogan.
Does it say Die Mogan, or is it folded over and it says Maddie Mogan?
Well, that's the question. I'd like to see the other side of the paper.
We don't have it.
Most likely it says Maddie.
Blood right there. Blood spatter right there. More right there. Right there. Over top of the stairs. Unbelievable.
Yeah. I know. Well, how did that
More right there? More right there.
I mean, looking at that, I don't think any reasonable person would say, oh,
there should not be blood there. And why I say that is because he killed these people, from what we are being told, in their rooms where they laid or stood. There should be no cast off anywhere else in that house, but in them rooms where these people were killed. How would there be cast off on the walls way up there above the stairs and everything? He didn't kill anybody there. There was no movement of the weapon that cast off. Oh, something crazy's going on here.
that was something left there before. It's not a part of the crime scene.
That would be hard to imagine.
Right.
There's this flimsy table that has all of the solo cups, and we're not talking about that other case where solo cups come into it. Here's that flimsy table with all the solo cups that leads some to say that this was staged, because so many investigators, came up those stairs and through that room that, how is it that that flimsy table would have withstood all the investigators, walking around, traipsing around that property, and the solo cups are still upright?
Mm-hmm.
I'm not saying that. I'm saying a lot of people have said that. Here's the railing. More blood.
Is your team spending more time on timesheets than their actual work? Deltek Replicon simplifies time tracking.
The knife.
Another knife.
I don't know what to say about the knife. It doesn't look clean to me, like somebody just picked it up out of the kitchen drawer. It looks pretty dirty to me.
Yeah, it does. It may look like somebody tried to wipe it clean, but there's still stuff on it.
Yeah, when Hunter came over, correct me if I'm wrong, as you always do, and you may, when Hunter came over, before he really investigated a lot, he went in the kitchen and grabbed a knife. Is this that knife?
I believe it is because, well, actually, in the video.
Well, my question, hello, Miss Debbie Fox, how you doing tonight? My question is this lady says it appears maybe they tried to wipe it off, but why would they wipe it off? If Hunter picked it up just to protect himself, to walk through the house to check, why would he wipe it off? I don't know. Very interesting. This is very confusing to some people, because there's people out there that think that there was two weapons used, but I don't know. That's pretty crazy if you ask me. But so Hunter goes in the house to look and see what the heck is going on. He grabs a knife. He goes into the room. By now, it's light out. You can see everything inside the house. You could see that Xana's laying there on the floor in front of the door, bleeding all over and everything. it wouldn't take a rocket scientist. Why they didn't say these people are deceased and we believe there's a murder that occurred or something very bad that happened, I don't know. But they continue the whole time to make it sound like it's just somebody that is not responding, that they were drunk.
Oh, you see him putting the knife on the table, and then in the beginning of body cam, you see the knife is on the floor as you're going up the stairs. So I don't really know if this is a knife he grabbed or if this was a knife that was on the floor and he put it on the table. I mean, I have no idea.
Go way back to the beginning when the medical examiner, Kathy Mabit, said that, their wounds looked like they were very different.
Yeah.
So.
All right. So now they're saying that one of the autopsy people said something about the wounds look different. Well, if they're different, there's very good chance that they were a different knife or something. Maybe. But then here's the thing. If that's the case, that takes more time. You're using two knives now. You got to change knives as you're killing people or doing stuff to them. He's already out of there. He's already gone. 12 minutes. He's out of there.
We don't know. They're the solo cups again. There's a closer view of the knife that shows that, it's not clean. This shows the length of the knife. What the heck is that?
I don't know.
Oh, it's a body bag. That's what that is.
God.
That's a body bag. It's sealed up, but it has blood on it. Whether there's somebody in it at that point or not, but that's what that is. This is a picture of the railing with blood stains on it. Probably.
Yeah.
That's a blood stain right there on that railing. And we read all about those in the police reports that we read way back in the late summer. More blood spatter. Look how high up that blood spatter is, though. Look how high up that is, because that's above a stairwell. That's a very high location.
Yeah, but it's strange that it's just that one.
That is strange. Why? Because you got no body that was killed there. What's he doing? Flailing around a knife in the dark as he's walking? Maybe. But he didn't kill. The bodies were in the room. Why is there blood casting above the stairwell that high up? I don't know. That's kind of weird. Right? Because he got no bodies laying on the ground there. He didn't kill anybody on the other side of that wall. He went into the room with her. Not unless he knocked her out with the butt of that K-bar. Drug her into the bedroom and then cut her. That's also possible. But here's the thing. She's so close to the room. Why ain't she screaming for Ethan? And why ain't Ethan waking up?
That one part.
Is it, or what's this? What's this? What's that? Is it just
and I see
one?
one over to the right.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Sound too low? Here's how to fix it. Open a sound pusher, instant volume boost up to 600%. Boom!
More of the same, more of the same, more of the same. You know, I mean, we're not going to get to them all in this episode. We're not going to do them all. Other people have, and that's fine. You can go take a look and they have a good interpretation. That's fine. But see up here, there's 2,790 photos.
It's too many.
And Yoli, you were smart enough. Thank you for downloading them before they were removed, because you had emailed me and said, "Did you know there were new photos?" And it was a horrible busy day for me in my office, and
Well, this lady who's a lawyer is saying that they took too many photos, but how do you take too many photos in a quadruple murder? 2,800 photos, or 27, whatever you just said. I think they did a pretty good dang job. I mean, they photographed everything, and that's how it should be done, I would think. You know, they're photographing everything, but that is interesting. How did blood cast off get onto that wall when there's nobody being killed there? That's interesting. Not unless he's flailing the knife around as he's chasing Xana into her bedroom, but still, I that's weird. How did it get way up there?
it took me a while to get the email. And so I immediately went on to the Idaho State Police website where, you know, they've dropped photos in the past. There's nothing there. I'm like, Yoli, what are you talking about?
Yeah, I know. I know. But, you know, I learned my lesson the last time when they put up the documents. I didn't save them. Well, I probably shouldn't have saved them anyway because they contain personal information, and I don't want to see that. But being that there were new documents or new photos, I downloaded them before looking at them. And then when I started to look at them, oh, look, that looks like the same type of drink that was in, oh, maybe it's not. The same type of drink that was in the trunk of Eric Gower's car. I think it's different. This is Bud Light.
I think it's different because it's a Bud Light, which had
Bud Light.
Beer,
yeah.
which was beer. It's beer color, typical beer color. Yeah. Whereas the
that also looks like blood right here and right here. So blood splatter here or something. Now whether it's their blood, I have no idea. Well, what's the problem that we're seeing here? Well, you had all these people in the house before police got there. 8 hours went by. You know, that's, it could be anybody. It could, I don't know. It's pretty crazy. It's obvious they were partying that night. That night there was a party there. I mean, you got cases of beer everywhere, beer cans everywhere. It's obvious something was going on that they're not, you know, the media's not letting out that there was a big party there or something.
Other one was Smirnoff.
It was kind of pink. Yeah. Was that? Oh, you're going to get mad at me now. It was one of those girly drinks.
No, I'm not gonna get mad at you. Oh, it's so sad. This is awful.
Folks, make sure you check out your local Guild guitar dealer. Guild makes beautiful guitars. I had one myself, a D24 or D20.
Here's the kitchen. There's the kitchen. And I think that's before they put down the Amido Black, you know, that they put down to see if they can find traces of blood, because remember the photos that we've seen before had stains all over them. There were stains on the counter. There were stains on these beautiful wooden cabinets.
Yeah, so Rosie is studying, Rosie from South Africa. She's
Yeah.
studying forensics, and when I had asked her, about all that blue stuff, and she said, "No, the runoff, you shouldn't put too much into that because it's the runoff from the amino black. There's certain portions."
Well, that's true, what this lady's saying, but if you remember in the beginning of this case, they showed a photo and people were saying, "Oh my God, there's blood dripping everywhere. It's unbelievable." And I even looked at the photos myself. And it did, but you're looking through a window and through it. You're looking through a screen and then a window. And it's so far away, it looks like it's a dark color, like it would be blood. But it was actually aluminol. And I did a video on that of oh my God, look, there's blood everywhere. But we didn't know that that photo was actually aluminol. And it was actually taken when the investigators were there spraying the aluminol. But someone got a hold of that photo and put it out as there was blood dripping down the cabinets, through the ceiling, onto the refrigerator, the cabinet doors. But the whole time it was aluminol. Well, so there was no blood at all, as you can see. And they're saying, well, maybe someone might have cleaned up. You see the mess there? In order to clean up blood completely off of that cabinet, you'd had to move all them dishes, everything off of that countertop, and clean it. And what are you going to do? Put all the dishes back like it's a dirty kitchen?
That would show blood, but it's hard to tell in the pictures. It's.
I wonder if she would come on with us and go through the rest of these photos.
Oh, I think she would.
She probably doesn't have time for that.
But here's the crazy thing. When you got 8 hours, yeah, it's possible they could have took everything off of that countertop, all them dishes, cleaned everything off, and put everything back like it was. Yeah, when you got 8 hours. When you got 8 hours before police show up. Yeah. I mean, I don't think that's what happened, but is it possible someone do that? Well, yeah, you got 8 hours. That whole, there could have been blood all over. They could have cleaned it up in 8 hours. You should have checked to see if they had a steam cleaner there, a Shark 2 or some kind of a steam cleaner. But the house has been tore down and everything. I wonder if they check that. It's so clean around. How would they get a steam cleaner? I got a steam cleaner here. When all that CV COVID shit broke out, I went and got a steam cleaner. Handheld steam cleaner to steam clean stuff because steam will kill germs.
Well, she might.
I should hit her up. If you're watching us, Rosie, email me. I'll hit you up. But
yeah, because I had asked her because I didn't want to say like what is like. Look at this mess.
Whoa, back up. That looks like blood right there. Whoa. On the floor right there by the sink. Whoa. Back up. Now, here's my question. Did these kids touch the bodies? How did they not see all this blood? She's not just drunk. Did they accidentally touch the bodies to try and wake them up? Got blood on them or whatever, went to go wash their hands and dripped blood or whatever, or I don't know. Debbie Fox says scary movie. That might have been.
what, is this all blood? And she's
Yeah, that looks like blood to me. Either that or maybe something they were eating. Taco Bell sauce, maybe Wendy's sauce, a hamburger, ketchup. And that makes sense. Why? Well, because if you see some of the photos of the kitchen, what's on the microwave? Curly fries. And I don't know about you folks, but whenever I eat fries, I love ketchup. Now, that might be ketchup. We don't know. But you would think they would swab it with a cotton swab, an air swab, you clean your ears with, and then spray some luminol on the swab. And if it glows, well, it's blood. Let's take a photo of it. But blood being there by the sink is interesting. If that be the case of blood.
said, no. So, so it's
Interesting.
not to get people alarmed that there was this huge mess, but I don't know.
All right, let's back up there because now the investigator here has booties on.
I'll hit you up. But
yeah, because I had asked her because I don't want to say like what is like, look at this mess. What is this all blood? And she said, no. So, so it's
Interesting.
not to get people alarmed that there was this huge mess, but
All right, now this is properly how you should investigate a crime scene. And I do believe if the police would have known that there was a quadruple murder in the house, the police would have went in there the same way with these booties on. You know who else had access to these booties like that? Kohlberger. You know who else had access to the black gloves just like the police? Kohlberger. You know who had access to stuff to clean up a crime? Kohlberger. Why? Because he was going to school to be a forensic evidence guy. So, yeah.
I don't know. She could probably help out a little bit in explaining it.
Yeah, because a forensics expert, I'm not. I never said that I was because it's such a detailed topic and it goes so deep that's not my thing. But to have somebody that's even a student, I don't know why we're looking down the trash can, but we are. If you know why we're, and I don't know why we're looking at this glove because
whoa. Is that a glove, a blue one? Very interesting. Or is it a spot of blood in the bathroom on the toilet? Debbie, does that appear to be a glove now? People are going to flip out. Oh my God, a blue glove. Ladies and gentlemen, people, when they clean, they put gloves on. You can get them gloves at the dollar store for $1, but I think they come in all different colors. Blue, yellow, clear color. Looks like a pair of gloves. Yes, I use them all the time. See, the ladies use them. I don't use gloves. I should when I clean, but I usually don't. I don't put them on, but I should because the chemicals alone will mess with you. Purple. They're blue color, Debbie. Are you saying they're purple color or the ones you have are purple? But that's blue. If you see purple, you might be colorblind, little lady. Debbie Fox says she's got cleaning gloves all over the place. They come in purple too. Yeah. I've seen them in yellow, purple, clear color. All they are is latex gloves. What a surgeon puts on.
Okay, so if this glove was found at the scene, now, wouldn't they take DNA samples of inside the glove?
Of course, a professional investigator, yes. These people, I think I think, if I recall correctly, and I'm not 100% sure, correct me down below, experts, the initial body cams showed this bathroom, and that glove wasn't there. So
I don't remember.
I
But
don't
seeing
know.
this, I think, okay, somebody was wearing gloves. Why? And take swabs. But I mean, I don't know if they did that or not. I don't think they did. I don't know.
I believe this is down on the first floor because there are those lights.
Mm-hmm.
Wait a minute.
And if you look,
I want to back up a little bit because it looks like the countertop is cracked.
correct me down below, experts. The initial body cams showed this bathroom, and that glove wasn't there. So
I don't remember.
I
But
don't
seeing
know.
this,
Oh, hold on. Go
seeing
up,
this, I
go up,
think,
dude.
okay, somebody was wearing gloves. Why? And take swabs.
Right there. Stop. Is that a crack in the countertop going straight across, or is that where they join the countertop? Oh no, that's the table. That is the table in the kitchen, or not in the kitchen, in the front room. When you first walk up the stairs from the front door and you turn, there was that ping pong table or that table or whatever it was set up. That's what that is. Debbie Fox says she has all kinds of gloves everywhere in her house just in case she got to clean up a body. But they're red, black. They come in purple packs, all kinds of colors.
But I mean, I don't know if they did that or not. I don't think they did. I don't know.
I believe this is down on the first floor because there are those lights.
Mm-hmm.
And if you look really, 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 really closely, there is blood spatter here. It's hard to see.
Let's see.
It's very hard to see, but it's there. Better close-up picture.
Yeah.
All right. How much further do you want to go with this? Should we just pick? Let me try something. And if we don't like this, we can edit it right the heck out.
Hercules 20-volt brushless power tools are as good as the best for a whole lot less, only at Harbor Freight.
I believe that's Anna's hair right there.
What?
This apparently is Xana's room. And this is one of the reasons people are saying that the whole batch of 2,700 photos was pulled, because this is Xana's room, and this is something that shouldn't have been shown. That's what we're...
And why shouldn't it have been shown? Now let's back up a little bit. I want to see the reflection in the mirror. Well, I'll be dipped in crap. That's a mirror right there, ain't it, boys? Sure is. And what's it showing? Looks like a bunch of blood all over a white sheet or something. You see that? It's reflecting back this way. It's whatever is over here is reflecting back in the mirror. And then that looks like blood there dripping. So this is Xana's room where she was found with Ethan. And I think she got up and you know, I don't know what happened there. But I would think that if they were woken up out of a dead sleep and someone was being stabbed or whatever, she might have woke up and tried to get out of bed, because we have no idea what happened in that house. We're going off of what people think. We have no idea exactly who died first or how it happened, or if any of them got up out of the bed. I imagine they had to have woken up. You get stabbed once, if it ain't a major artery where you bleed out within minutes, or you're gonna get up, you're gonna react, you're gonna feel that pain. And why do I say that? Is because, folks, I've been through a lot of operations, and they put you under. Why? So you don't wake up. I woke up once, and they had to put me back out. And you feel pain. The body feels pain. So if you're sleeping and all of a sudden you feel pain, you're gonna wake up. That's why they put you under when they do operations, so you don't wake up. Right? You're unconscious. You're not feeling any pain. Now you're so deep in under asthenia. I can't even pronounce that word. Astheniology, whatever they call it. You're under drugs or whatever. You can't feel pain. You don't realize what's going on. You don't feel anything. But for two young people just to be sleeping and he comes up and stabs one of them or whatever, they're going to jump up. They're going to wake up. And that's what it looks like to me, is that is blood all over a sheet or something that is hanging on a wall. And you could see the bottom reflection of the pink blanket. It looks like it's reflecting all this stuff here, but on the top, it's reflecting whatever they have hanging on the wall over here. Or possibly a sheet or something that's on the ground or something, because it's, I think that's probably a wall. Blood on that bed frame, by the way. Yeah, Deb, I see it.
And this is one of the reasons people are saying that the whole batch of 2,700 photos was pulled, because this is Xana's room, and this is something that shouldn't have been shown. That's what we're told. I don't know.
I don't know. I don't.
There it is, right there.
I don't see anything. I don't want to see
It's
anything.
not blood. That's
Yeah, all right.
Whoa, slow
All right.
down, dude. Slow up, down, back up. Back up.
2,700 photos was pulled because this is Xana's room, and this is something that shouldn't have been shown. That's what we're told. I don't know.
All right, so here we go. So that's what we're seeing in the mirror, is that white sheet or whatever this is with some kind of drawing on it and this thing. So it's not blood. It was actually reflecting this sheet on the wall. It looks like a drawing or something of a woman. Maybe it's a drawing of Xana or something. Right there. Interesting. That was the reflection. Oop, they got a box fan in the room too, right there. You can see it right in the corner here, box fan.
I don't know. I don't see anything. I don't want to see anything.
Yeah, all right. All right.
You know, the reason they're blacking this out, it must be blood here, but there's no body laying there. Ethan was 6'2" or something like that, or Yeah, he'd be hanging off this bed. So they must have already moved the body and it's just blood there. Yeah, I think she got up, Debbie. We really can't say how this happened, but we know this much. She was probably walking around. That's why she had blood at the bottom of her feet. At some point, she was walking around in her own blood or someone's blood.
All right. Okay. Okay. All right.
Gosh, it looks like, I mean,
Well, here's another lie that they told. Remember, they said they found Xana in the closet. They didn't find her in the closet. The closet's a wreck. Let's see if we can get a better photo.
Right. Okay. Okay. All right.
All right, there's the closet. I'm not seeing her, and we looked in the closet a couple days ago. Remember, we were looking at other photos, and in the beginning of the case, they said they found her in the closet, but that was a lie. She wasn't in the closet. Did you look at the photos before you mixed all that on the floor? Or missed all that on the floor? The blood on the floor. Yeah, that was her blood. It was on the bottom of her feet. She was walking around in it. Yeah. But what is shocking is we're not seeing no dog prints. The dog had the run of the whole house. As this was all going on, the dog, they said, was free in the house. It was walking around in the house.
gosh, it looks like, I mean, it looks a mess. I mean, does that look like a struggle, or does it look like that's just how they lived? I mean, I don't know.
It might be a little bit of both, I would guess, because Xana was said to have fought back. And also, I'm not going to disparage anyone at all, but they're college kids.
Yeah.
You know?
No, I know.
Oh my God, I don't want to look at that anymore.
Well, we do, you idiot. Back up. Well, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to say idiot. We want to see what's going on here.
Be a little bit of both, I would guess, because Xana was said to have fought back. And also, I'm not going to.
All right, there's a photo of looking out Xana's bedroom. There's the closet in the corner right here. And this is looking out of her bedroom into the front room.
Disparage anyone at all, but they're college kids.
Yeah.
You know? Be a little bit of both, I would guess, because Xana was said to have fought back. And also, I'm not going to disparage anyone at all, but they're college kids.
All right, now let's take a look at this. We have the cores, we have the bed. And this is where they found her, right here. Right here on the floor, her head on a pillow. And all that blood you were talking about, Debbie, was hers. But she was, from what they're saying is, well, she had blood on the bottom of her feet. Well, that means she probably was walking around in it. Yeah, Debbie, that one photo that was looking out of her bedroom, it was looking out of her bedroom into the front room where they had the couch and the lights.
Kids,
Yeah.
you know.
No, I know.
Oh my.
All right, now here's some more blood. It looks saturated, blotted, spots. Warning, graphic material. And you could tell, look at it, it's already dried and clotted. It's already like, you can tell it's like, it's it's past the stage, it's in its clotting stage. It's already dry and, but that's what happens when there's 8 hours go by. Rigor mortis sets in what, 4 to 7 hours, depending on the uh, temperature that the people are in. They say if you're in cold weather, rigor mortis sets. It takes longer for rigor mortis to set in.
God, I don't want to look at that anymore.
No.
I don't want to look at that anymore either.
You've seen
But
this.
there's someone's
That's the
Mhm.
phone.
cell phone. But yeah, these are
Here's the computer.
pictures that certainly are what they are. And you know what I always do with a legal document? I always read them backwards. I start at the back. So this is
Right.
the very last photo. Vacuum cleaner. Storage boxes. All right. All right. Have we seen enough for this episode?
Yeah.
Should we save some for another episode?
Yeah, maybe select a few.
Yeah. Yeah, we didn't have the opportunity to do that for this episode because they just came out the day before.
All right. So what do we got here? A white chair, which I don't see no blood on it. You got a Nike shoe, and it looks to be either a pizza box or some kind of a food bag or something. Is that a Pittsburgh Steeler jersey right here? I see yellow and white stripes and black. What's the color of the college school or whatever? Were they cheerleaders or anything? Did any of the guys they date play football or anything or baseball or anything?
We're doing this episode, and you know.
All right, that's that of the photos. Well, very interesting. How did blood get all the way up over the stairway? And how did it get there? Cast off or whatever they're saying, but how? When these people were killed in their bedroom. How are we getting blood all the way up over the stairway? Up and down the stairway to the front door. You got blood on the floor by one of the girls on the first floors. You got blood on the floor by the door where they were killed, a footprint. Well, how does blood get all the way over there? I don't know. That's when no one was killed there. Oh yeah, Debbie. When you pass away, everything does relieve your body. So you're right about that. Yes, you would have smelt that in the house. Well, I don't know. They had a fan. Was that fan on? You know, if it was 60, 70 degrees in the house in the middle of winter or whatever, uh, and you had that box fan on or whatever, there's a good chance that maybe the blood coagulated a lot faster, maybe. I don't know, but how you get all that blood up and down the stairways? I wanted to show uh, Harsh Realities channel what he had. He's got a photo showing that whole stairways going down to the front door, just riddled in red tapes. And I mean, how does that get there when not one of these people were killed in the stairway? Let me see if I can find Harsh Realities video real quick. Once again, I want to give a shout out to Pizza Hut in town here. That was a pretty good pizza. And how I judge pizza is if I eat pizza and I ain't in the bathroom within an hour crapping my brains out, it's pretty good pizza. Let me see if I can find this guy. Here it is right here. This guy's unbelievable. He's a bloke from London or England or whatever. Crazy bloke. All right, let me see what we got here. Yeah, here it is. Let me show you this dude's pretty good. Dude. Nah, look at this. This crazy bloke has got all the good stuff. All right, let me get Mr. Harsh Realities channel put in my chat and in description. All right, there you go, folks. Look at all the blood markings. How you get blood over the? How you get all that? When he didn't kill anybody outside of them rooms. How you getting this blood pattern all over? That's that. What? This is unbelievable. Unknown male. You see this down here at the bottom? Unknown male. B and C right here down here. But being that there was a party house, being that there was 8 hours that went by and people coming in and out, Jack there, Hunter's there, whole bunch of people there, girls and everything coming in. I don't know. But how do you get blood over there where there was no kill zone there? He'd have to be flailing the knife around everywhere as he's just walking through the house in case it had to be dark in case he runs into somebody. He's just slashing everything. Debbie says, "Yep, it's unknown. Not even Kohlbergers." Yeah, and that's the problem we are facing when you wait 8 hours to call the police, and people are coming and going in the house. You got blood all the way up here, Debbie, over here by the ping pong table, above the thing. You can see the red marks up here. 38, they're calling it, or whatever, over here on the wall. You got blood marks here. Nobody was killed out here. How are you getting all this cast off when the murder scene was inside this room back here? This is where she was killed and Ethan was killed. Back where these lights are back here, Debbie, that's the kill zone. How are you getting all this all over this open area? I don't understand. Look at way up here, way here, above this picture up here on this wall. Down here, you got way down here, BC, unknown man. 23, 24 right here. I don't know. I don't know. I mean, he must have been bloody. The knife must have been bloody, but it's still how is it getting there? He would have had to have the knife in his hand, walking down the wall, and it dripping down the wall or something. As he's, I don't know. That's pretty crazy to me. That's pretty crazy to me. We got two kill zones, both in separate bedrooms, contained, but yet you got cast off and blood drippings all throughout the hallway leading out the front door. Let's watch a little bit of Mr. Harsh reality here. Let's start this video over, Debbie. I am sorry, but they did not do enough, and it should have went to trial. Yeah.
Picture, because this picture tells a story, an important story, a story of a horrific crime that happened at 1122 King Road. Now, does it tell you that there was multiple perpetrators in this crime? No, it doesn't. It doesn't tell you that there was multiple perpetrators in this crime. One could argue that it could, in fact, assist a singular perpetrator crime, because what it depicts is cast off on the stairs, and it shows where somebody seemingly moved from upstairs to downstairs and left a trail of blood between moving around. Now, it certainly doesn't eradicate the idea of there being two people who did this crime, but that's not the important thing here. And maybe some people who saw the thumbnail noticed an error I'd made.
Chevy trucks are as dependable as the Chevy people who drive them. They don't need permission to get
commercials.
They all have that little extra.
Some people might. We'll see. Now, what I did, I purposefully moved one element in that, which was the unknown DNA. I moved its placement to see whether anybody picked up on it, because the unknown person's DNA is important. Now, some people say that this DNA was tested and it was deemed that it was irrelevant because of timing. It was apparently there potentially before this crime. Maybe they tested it and they...
All right, so they already had blood at the crime scene that was not from the crime scene. It was there before the crime scene, which it could have been if there ever was a fight, if somebody was cut themselves or whatever. But you still got a lot of blood in a hallway where there shouldn't be blood. There shouldn't be no cast off. And the only reason you got cast off there is he killing somebody in that corridor there where that wall is, where at the top of the stairs. How else you got cast off all over the walls higher than what the wall was on some of that stuff? That's pretty crazy. Debbie Fox says, I feel there is so much more. I always have, excuse me, and felt some kind of way that they took the house down and buried it so fast. Like, what the F? Yeah. Well, there's rumors going around they wanted to do acoustics within the house to see if they can hear all this stuff through the vents. Because on this first floor down here, Debbie, see if he shows. right down here at the bottom of this stairs, where the front door is, on the ceiling, there is heat ducts that run, that's connected to the ceiling. You can see them plain as day. So there was rumors that they wanted to do acoustic test to see if somebody yelling in the rooms would be able to hear it downstairs through the ductwork of the house. But the house got destroyed before they supposedly did that. And why would they destroy the house so fast? You think they would have kept it just in case it did go to trial? We would be able to walk the jurors through the house like they did in the O.J. Simpson case. You remember the O.J. case? They walked people through the crime scene. All right, let's check out one more video of Mr. Harsh Reality. What a beautiful girl. I'll tell you what, them dudes at Guild know how to make a guitar.
I'm going to get straight into the meat and potatoes, as we are currently the aftermath of the release of some pictures that raise some questions, and we're going to talk about it. I've got an article in front of me. I'm not going to put it on the screen. I'm going to read the article and I'm going to explain what I'm seeing, because it's the New York Post article. I will put the link to this article in the description of this video so you can head over and look yourself. Someone said yesterday about, why are you talking about the photographs if you're not going to show them? I'm not going to show them because if I show them, this video will get restricted. You may not see it. They'll put they'll put stuff on there that just means that not many people see it, and people need to hear this. People need to hear this, both pro-burgers and anti-burgers and in the middlers alike, because there is something massively wrong with the Idaho 4 case. And primarily...
Oh, Debbie, he's saying something is massively wrong with this case. Then he might be right. He might be right.
What's wrong with it is around the two surviving roommates. And there's nothing more obvious now that these pictures are out. This article says grisly leaked photos show blood-soaked rooms of Idaho college students butchered by Brian Kohberger. Now, I thought to myself, right, because a lot of us initially, our question was, well, there don't seem to be a lot of blood. Where's all the blood? And that was the main thread from what we've seen. And then we heard the families coming out saying that they didn't want the pictures released. So we've got a situation, right, where the families don't want the pictures released, which, true crime, there's pictures that are released. We've seen it all before. And I appreciate when you've got skin in the game, it's very easy for you to turn around and say that it's disrespectful or have some degree of contempt towards the release.
All right, Mr. Harsh Reality is right. And we seen that in the Delphi case. Remember, I did many videos saying we want to see the crime scene photos And we had a bunch of guys that were attacking me and going crazy. You're sick. You want to see the photo. The evidence is in the photos. If you are not going to look at crime scene photos and see exactly what's going on, you ain't ever going to be shit in the investigation world. And they were pissed because I kept calling, we want to see the photos. You could blot out the bodies or whatever, but we want to see the crime scene photos of exactly what it looked like at the crime scene. And that's what they're doing here in the Idaho 4. Well, we don't want the photos to be seen, right? The evidence of what happened exactly is in the crime scene photos. Now, they were all calling us sick. Oh, you're sick. You want to see kids naked and stuff. No, no. We want the facts. And the facts are in the crime scene murder photos. And they got all pissed off at me. We're going to kill you. Then come kill. We're ready for you. Now, but that we're seeing the same thing. Indiana tried to pull the same shit with the Delphi case, the Evansdale case, the Floor fires case. We don't want the public to see the fire. Well, then you ain't the United States public. You're not the justice system. The American citizen has the right to see every photo that you produce in a courtroom. Why? Because it's our country. It's our courtroom. It's our justice system. And they tried to pull this in other cases.
Of information and footage and photographs around a crime that, again, you have skin in the game in. But let's not forget that Kaylee Gonsalves herself was a fan of the true crime genre. And this is not a new thing. This isn't, the Idaho 4 case isn't special in the grander scheme of things. It's just another case. And yeah, do you know what I mean? It's equally as it is for them to turn around and say, yeah, this is bad, I get it.
Yes. Excuse me, Debbie. Yes, you're right. It's the American citizens. It's our right. That's right. Now, the reason they didn't want us to see the crime scene photos in Delphi was because a bunch of these YouTubers were lying. The bodies were all carved up. They were penetrated, vaginary or whatever, with sticks and everything like that. I said, bullshit. Bullshit. Let's see the crime scene photos. But they didn't want us to see the crime scene photos. Why? Because that would have proved that these YouTubers made up a big bunch of bullshit, whether they were being paid from the state or paid from defense, but they made up a bunch of bullshit and led people down and their viewers and subs down a winding road. That long and winding road. And we called bullshit on them.
Understand it, I appreciate it, but it's easy for us to, obviously, because we don't have skin in the game, to just see this as yet another case. But what are we saying? That the true crime genre should not exist. We should never, ever see anything depicting any kind of violence or anything whatsoever. And I think that that is something that perhaps some people would agree with. But look, it is what it is. I wouldn't think that the family would want.
Where I stand on that, Debbie, is we want to show the world and your society and citizens the madmen that live amongst us and women of what kind of monsters do in human form. You don't want to see any violence. You don't want to see any death. You don't want to see then you're sending your kids into a world and your family into a world that they think is just perfect, picture perfect, nothing bad ever happens. And these kids end up dead. And these women, the men and everything, because they're amongst the world thinking that this whole dang country and world is just perfect picture. It's all a giant fairy tale story, nothing bad, no monsters. No.
To see a genre of videos and content being removed that their own child was a fan of. Do you know what I mean? But look, it is what it is. But they didn't want the pictures to come out. We also have a situation where the house, they didn't want people to see that house. That house was very quickly knocked down, removed, got rid of, buried, burnt, whatever they did to it, it's gone. It's gone. Pre-trial, it was gone.
Well, he makes a good point here, Miss Debbie. Pre-trial, before it even went to trial, they tore the house down. Do you know Nicole Simpson's house is still up? Do you know that the Manson family house and everything is still? Why did they tear that house down so fast? And I think I did a video on this. We might see that if it goes to court. I think in the video I said, in my video I did, if it goes to court, we might have the jury walk through the house. So they can see for themselves what actually happened. They can hear acoustics. They can, but they tore the house down. They tore the house down in record time.
Some have even said that they knew this was never going to trial, so the House never needed to stand. This was preordained, the outcome of this trial or this case. But what I feel is that they didn't want the pictures to come out because they knew what the pictures depicted and what that would mean in the grander scheme of things. Because now we've seen the pictures and actually seen the evidence of such brutality, it almost proves that what happened in that house was so horrendous that the two surviving roommates, they must have known what was going on. They surely knew. They surely heard. Like from statements that we've literally heard them say, Kaylee running up and down the stairs, shouting someone's in the house, to seeing Xana Canodal laying on the floor. They can literally tell you what she was wearing, but they couldn't see the shit show that was happening behind her. Come on.
Well, I agree with this dude. Because one of the girls told the other girl to come to her room. She was scared. She thinks she heard something bad happening. And the one girl said, run down to my bedroom or come up to my bedroom or whatever, and we'll hang out here. And as she's going to the girl's bedroom, she said she's seen Xana laying on the floor. Laying on the floor. She said that. She said that to the police when the police got there, and she said, well, I told her to come up to my bedroom. And as she did, she said she's seen Xana laying on the floor, but yet they don't see any blood, any other thing. And it was already daylight out. Yeah, 8 hours later, Deb.
Doesn't make sense. 8 hours between whatever happening and a 911 call being made. A front door mysteriously left open, if you believe what the neighbor says. 2 individuals claiming that they were scared. Some would even say frozen in shock fear. That's bollocks. But
Yes, they are forgetting that there was a guy that was walking his dog. And his testimony was when he walked past that house, the front door was already open. So how did this go down? How did it go down? Why was the front door left open? Before Hunter got there, before the one boyfriend got there, what was the other boyfriend's name, Debbie? That lived like 3 houses down from him. They said he could have been there within seconds. He lived that close to the girls. But you had somebody that was walking their dog at like 6 o'clock in the morning or whatever, 5 o'clock in the morning, and they said the front door was already open. The front door was already open. So what is going on here? Did the guy come in the front and leave the back? Why is the front door open before anyone gets there? Before Jack, before Hunter, before their girlfriends that they called or whatever? The door's already open. Yeah, that's what I'm thinking too, Debbie. Debbie's probably right there. Photos are saying so much more.
Frozen, but running around the house, in a room, together, scared, 10 feet away from a door or less, that they simply could have walked out of to safety and called 911 or friends or the faculty for help and assistance. Maybe they did. Maybe they actually did ring for help or tried to ring for help, but couldn't because there were things set in place that night that meant that they couldn't. Some believe that Steve Gonsalves referenced a call that was made earlier to 911, which, if you listen to the audio that seemingly depicts an attack of some nature happening earlier on in the evening, it certainly raises questions, doesn't it? But look.
Oh, so Harsh Reality is saying that there is a police call that was made way before the murders occurred that night. And it sounded like there was somebody already a struggle way before the murders occurred. Wow. Debbie Fox says they didn't need to run from safety. They knew they were safe. Well, they seen the guy leave. And then they don't hear nothing in the house. It's just silence. And they go back to bed. How do you? And then the girl walks past the body laying on the floor, and she says, "I seen Xana laying on the floor. I think I seen Xana laying on the floor, and no one calls nobody."
Let me just walk through this, and I'm going to have to paint a picture as if I'm Let's Read or Lazy Masquerade, or I talk about what I'm seeing. It says haunt and new crime scene photos reveal blood-soaked rooms inside the off-campus house where 4 University of Idaho students were viciously slaughtered by cold-blooded killer Brian Koberger. Nearly 3,000 previously unseen photos providing a chilling glimpse into the November 2022 murders were quietly leaked by Idaho State Police on Tuesday, then quickly scrubbed from their website, according to the Daily Mail, which obtained the grisly images before they were taken down. I'll just flick this on the screen very briefly so you can pause it. There's that. In fact, I'll lift it up. I'll flick it on.
Roku's self-serve ads platform. It's easier than ever with Ads Manager. Sign up today.
Commercial.
If you've been in an auto accident, you have a choice on where to get your vehicle fixed. Choose.
All right, stop, son of a bologna sandwich. All right, let's stop there and see what he's got, Deb. All right, there's the room. That was Xana's room. She was laying right there. Okay, so you could see her when you walked past that hallway to go downstairs or upstairs. They walked past there, one of these girls, and said they seen Xana laying on the floor. Now, Debbie Fox is saying, because there is no DNA of his in that house. That's true. The only DNA they had was on the sheath. And that's true, Ms. Fox. The only thing in that house that they connected to Kohlberger was the sheath. Now, how did that sheath get there? People are like, they're setting them up. Well, then how did they get into Kohlberger's house and get that knife sheath and plant it there? Somebody they knew had to have known Kohlberger. How else would his DNA get there? Or Kohlberger would have had to sold that knife to somebody. Or Kohlberger borrowed that knife to somebody and somebody did the murders and his DNA was on it. But here is the main thing. If Brian Kohlberger was completely 100% innocent, why did he plead guilty? Why did he not take it to court? Why didn't he let it go to trial? He's screwed anyways. You might as well see if you can get your way out of it. If you're 100% innocent, what would I be saying? Listen, I didn't do this. I know it looks like it. I know that's my DNA on the sheath or whatever. But this is what I think happened. This is what I think occurred. But I'm not taking the blame for this because I didn't do it. But another thing that Kohlberger didn't have was an alibi. One that stuck. One that where a witness said, no, it couldn't have been him because he was with us. His alibi was he was just driving around town. That was his alibi.
Flick it off so you can pause it. That picture. So what are we witnessing here? This is showing you it's everywhere. The red stuff is every fucking where. It's up the walls. It's on the cupboard. It's on cushions. It's like I can't understand. Like being on the cushion, but then the cushion is strewn across.
Debbie, he shut his phone off. He shut his phone off an hour before the murders, and it didn't come back on until an hour after the murders.
Rapping. There's rappers hair with it on. There's a shoe sitting there. It looks like someone's been skating around on it, like fucking Torval and Dean. It's insanity.
First Reality said it looks like somebody was bloody hell skating on it, like driving. That must be some ice skating figure dudes that are. Yeah, I agree with him. But what it is it's her own blood. She was walking around in her own red stuff, And this is what's pissing me off is YouTube. You can't say stuff, or they put a block on your video. It's ridiculous. Ridiculous. We live in America. Death is all around us every single day. We see it every day. And we're not allowed to talk about it on YouTube, which is supposed to be a social media creator, like a movie thing or a documentary TV show. you know, but yet we're not allowed to say certain things or show certain things, or your channel or your video will be shadow blocked or whatever, and no one will ever. This is ridiculous.
This little depiction here raises huge questions as to what in the blue monkey fuck balls was going on. How was someone in this room doing this and in such a mess? Yet seemingly we're suggesting that they then just calmly walked out of the house, got in their white Hyundai Elantra, and drove the fuck away. And then later that car was pulled to pieces and nothing was in it. Nothing in it whatsoever. Nothing.
Well, it's possible. It's possible. A theory I had was he did have a black suit on, but it was a jumpsuit. He had black gloves on, black jumpsuit, ski mask. He does the murders. He comes out. He walks to the back of his car. He takes the jumpsuit off, pulls the gloves off, ski mask, throws it in the trunk, maybe in a plastic bag, and throws it in the truck. Therefore, there is no DNA. There's no blood, nothing. Now, if he had booties on, then all he would have had to do is take the booties off and throw them also in the bag or whatever, and then somewhere get rid of it. Now, it's very, very, very possible because uh, they do make these jumpsuits. Now, I've not seen them in black, but I've seen them in white. Actually, I got a couple myself. They're for when you insulate uh, houses and stuff. You can get them at the hardware store. They're white jumpsuits. You get in them, they're like a Kevlar or something. You get in them, zip them up. When you're done, you unzip it and you throw it away. It's dispensable. But I've never seen them black. Now, don't get me wrong. They might make them black within the labs, within the school, being a criminologist or whatever he was going to school for, and labs and stuff. They might be black. I don't know. Maybe he spray painted it black, right? A light coat of black spray paint on it or whatever, and then put it on, you know. But even if he didn't, even if he just had a black jacket on, black sweatpants, whatever, and a ski mask and gloves and booties, them are all stuff you can walk to the car, unzip if it's still dark out, nobody can see you. You can get right out of them real fast, throw them in a bag, put them in your trunk, and you're out of there. They said there was drawings of blood. I don't know. I'm telling you, Debbie, I don't think Kohlberger sat there and drew in blood. I just don't see him doing that. He knows in his mind, he goes to school for this. The faster you are in and out is the best. And to cover your tracks, mean gloves, hat, and possibly booties, jumpsuit, or all black stuff, whatever you can get rid of or get out of real quick before he gets in the car. He might have had a whole set of. He didn't have to strip down naked like they were saying. Some of these people, well, he got naked and I don't think so. Uh, he probably had loose clothes on, something he can unzip from and get out of real quick. He might even had clothes underneath that. We don't know. They said he possessed them. How long was he in there? 12 minutes.
I know what some people are going to say, that the car was prepped and everything. But what did he do then? Did he go and park up somewhere and wrap the car? And I don't know. And again, remember, with respect to the car, the prosecution never deemed that the car or Brian was near the property. They can't place him there. That's documentation. It's not us making shit up. It's not us reporting badly. The documentation and statement straight from the horse's mouth, Bill Thompson, claims they can't place him there. We have a knife sheath and we have a car that's on video that vaguely resembles the same car that Brian Kohberger drives. And a knife sheath.
Well, if you remember in the beginning of this case, there was another car that resembled Brian Kohberger's, but that car was parked at Jack's house, and they were all sitting around partying, and the cops had to come up and tell them to keep it quiet. You remember that video? Where Jack and his buddies were all in the front of the house partying. There was a white vehicle out there parked in the driveway. Similar to what we're seeing Kohberger. Now, Jack only lived seconds away from this house. Jack used to say he'd crawl out of his bedroom window and jump on his roof, and he can see their house perfectly and inside the windows and everything. In that one video that we seen, that was way in the beginning of the thing when they were going through all the people. Jack was a suspect. The food truck people were suspects. All these people were suspects. He was there 12 minutes, Debbie, from the time his car, that fourth, he did 3 dry runs, driving around the apartment complex. On that 4th run, he stopped. And they didn't see his car leave from that area for 12, 15 minutes later. His car left. And they see his car again on camera. Right? They can't place him there because there's no footage of him inside the house. There's no DNA. The only thing they can go off of is the car. The car was seen 4 times there. 3 times it drove around, scoping the place out. The 4th time it drove in, there was no lights on. He parked in the behind the house. And they're saying he went in, did the murders. And 12 minutes later, 15 minutes later, his car is seen driving away real fast from there.
That could have been planted. And I am going to a video, which I want you to keep your eyes out for. So like the video, subscribe to the channel if you're not already. It's talking about a Louisiana man who actually, he's been on death row for decades. And what it was, the forensic dentist made a mold of his mouth and was pushing this to make indentations on this man's daughter's body that they would use to convict him and send him to death row. He's just been taken off death row because this has all come to light. And lo and behold, it now turns out that this has happened countless times. And there has, in fact, been 81 cases around this specific forensic dentist that convictions have been made based on dental evidence, bite mark evidence. So when people turn around and say that evidence isn't faked, they don't lie to get convictions, I will say, oh, fuck, they do. And I can prove it. And so can you prove it yourself if you just spend a little bit of time looking into it. But it's far easier to stick your head into your own ass and ignore what's being told to you and just continue to walk around bleating like a sheep. But anyway, then we've got another picture, which is underneath, which is a bedsheet and pillow seen covered in blood. Again, another, it's horrendous. It's absolutely everywhere. Absolutely everywhere. We've got another picture here, which is an iPhone laying on the floor, and even the iPhone has got blood on it, and there's other wrappers around it again with blood. It's a shit show. There's food on the floor, blood on the floor, a phone on the floor. We can bring this bit up. It literally says other graphic images showed the victim's belongings, including cell phones, laptops, shoes, and clothing stained with blood in the trashed bedrooms where Xana Canodal, Kaylee Gonsalves, man.
My whole thing is why did he plead guilty? If he was, even if they found DNA on that knife sheath, he bought the knife. It came with a sheath. I don't ask him if he borrowed the knife to anybody. Ask him if anybody had access to his apartment or had his apartment key. You know, if I was his lawyer, I would have went to bat for him and said, "Listen, they have your DNA on that. Where'd you get that knife? And did you borrow that knife to anybody? Did anybody know that you had that knife and sheath?" Why are you going to, if you are 100% innocent, we'll go to bat for you. We'll go to trial. You'd have got nothing to lose anyways. You're going to plead guilty, but you're not going to get the death sentence, but you're going to spend the rest of your life in jail. Now, either we can go ahead and there's still an option to take the death penalty off of the table, even if you lose the case and found guilty. And if that's the case, you're found guilty and whatever, you know, they can still take the death penalty off of the table.
Morgan, even Jadenworth knifed to death as they slept on November 13th, 2022. It says one of the airy photos showed what appeared to be smeared bloody fingerprints on a white nightstand in one of the ransacked bedrooms with blood dripping off the walls in another. The pictures showed what appeared to be the aftermath of a college party with red Solo cups scattered, beer cans strewn across the staircase, and a folding table still set up for beer pong. We've got they've got the picture of the nightstand here. Again, it's like someone's touched it and smeared it and fingers through it, like someone's it's crazy to me. It's absolutely crazy.
I do believe if it ain't Kohlberger or whoever did this, they had gloves on. Or it's Xana's. It's Xana's. It's perfectly evidence that she was on her feet. And why do I say that? Is because her bottom of her feet were covered in excrement of her. She fought back. She was on her feet. And even if they said, well, they all were sleeping. Remember in the beginning, all these people were sleeping when this happened. All right, but if she got stabbed, then she jumped up out of bed. And she might have fought back, but she was on her feet. And she was walking around on it. Now she's grabbing. She's probably grabbing, trying to stop the bleeding. And she's got blood on her hands now. Right? And what happens? She's starting to faint. She's losing blood. She's getting weak. It's starting to get black. And she falls. And she's trying to get up, whatever, with her hands and trying to get up back up. Yeah. Yeah. Debbie Fox says, at work, posing the victims, unveiling them, his sister. I don't know. I don't know. But it's her own body that is making these marks on the floor, on the table. It's obvious these people have never been injured and lost blood or or seen what happened. What happens when you know you're bleeding? You try and stop it. You try and stop it. You grab stuff to pick up to try and cover the wound and try and get it to stop. And that's what I'm seeing here in the crime scene. Is she was walking around with her own barefooted. Now I don't know if she had socks on or whatever, but whatever she had on or barefooted, there was blood on the bottom of it. So that means that either if she was sleeping like they first said, then she got out of bed. You know? I sent you that where he took time to arrange the victims. I don't know. Well, then how did he do all this within 12, 15 minutes? That's my question. I'm sorry, I'm having a piece of pizza. In order for him to stage bodies, write stuff on the floors like these people are saying now, oh my God, there was a smiley face and blood, and there was writing all over in order to do that, it takes time. It takes time to do the murders, and now you're going to stage the bodies, pick them up, put them back in bed, and you're going to write stuff on this stuff. This all takes time, longer than 12 minutes. They said he was in and out within 12 minutes. Miss Fox is saying, that's crazy. That's crazy to me. He must have had loads of time. I don't think so. Well, if he stayed there, who drove his car? Who drove his car? Is it possible he stayed there for 8 hours doing all kinds of sick stuff? Yeah, well, who drove his car? Who left it? Who left? And if that's the case, then somebody walked out of there. Right? Maybe whoever was driving the getaway car panicked and took off and left the killer there. And the killer had to walk out on his own. I mean, within 12 minutes, you're going to kill these people, pick the bodies up, put them in bed, stage them, cover them up, go downstairs, kill them too, stage them, put 6'2" Ethan back in bed, and stage everything, and then right on the floors, smiley faces with eyebrows and stuff, and then writing on the tables and stuff like that they're saying. That all takes time. They're saying he went into the house and was out within 12 minutes. Between 10, 15 minutes, he was in and out. I just don't see that double in blood. What the F? Yeah, I don't see it either. But how does he? I don't know. I don't know. The driver, maybe the driver split. And if there was two people, they left the killer in the house. And the killer did all this stuff and then walked out of there. And if that's the case, you would have seen the guy walking throughout the neighborhood, dressed all in black. You would have seen him on the camera and surveillance cameras. Yeah, they're saying he sat down in the chair for 30 seconds. He did all this stuff, sat down in the chair for 30 seconds, and then got up and walked out the back door. Well, that's what they're saying, Debbie. I don't know, but they're saying for 30 seconds he must have sat down in the chair exhausted for 30 seconds and then got up and walked out the back door. But why is the front door open? Why is the front door open before anyone gets there? Before Jack gets there, Hunter, the girls that they called to come over there? And then you have the dog walker that was walking his dog early that morning and said when he passed by, the door was wide open. How'd that door get open? And why was it left open? And did Hunter did Hunter and them say when they got there the door was open? When Jack got there, was the door open? Because we have a witness that said they were walking their dog early in the morning and that door was already open. Now, if Jack would have got there and said, no, the door was closed, if Hunter would have got there, nope, the door was closed and everything. But how the door, how come you got somebody that said they walked past that house early in the morning before Jack and them guys got there and the door was already open? Debbie Fox says she never believed this ridiculousness. I agree.
Cushions on the bed, it's under the bed. It's just it is absolutely everywhere. Which we know there was blood on the stairs, which they don't want us to know whose that is. There was blood outside that they don't want us to know whose that is either. But then we've got this knife sheath that even the picture of the knife sheath, it doesn't look like you could have seen that from where law enforcement claim they saw it. It doesn't even appear to be where they said it was. It looked like it was under the pillow for a start, which when you think that little Timmy Reed, after he was beaten the shit out of by students at the University of Idaho, he was sleeping with a knife under his pillow. Interesting, isn't it? And then what we got here, this is just telling you how this all come about. It says the grieving family said they were told Tuesday morning the gruesome photos would be released, but the images were already public 12 minutes later when the call ended. That's a heads up we received. Coburg 31 took a surprise plea deal last July, just weeks before his highly anticipated trial was set to kick off. Coburg copped to the quadruple killings, but the deal saw him skirt the possibility of death penalty, enraging some of the families of his victims and leaving the loved ones with no explanation as to why he committed the heinous murders. And that's it, isn't it? But with respect to these pictures, what do they show? Again, as aforementioned, this just raises questions around the surviving people in this house, because I do not, cannot, and will not ever believe that you could have been inside this house and not heard what was going on. It's an impossibility to me. Now, was the house...
Harsh reality, bloke. I believe you, and I agree with you. How does a camera, ringtone camera, 50 feet away outside the house, hear the struggles going on, but people inside that house don't hear nothing? I agree 100% with you, bloke. 100%. Somebody's blowing shit out their ass and up our nose. And I don't like it. Not one bit. And that throws everything out the door right there. We didn't hear anything. Well, that's funny. 50 feet away, you can hear people screaming and doors being broke down or whatever, or bodies thumping on the ground. And you guys heard nothing? Nothing. Well, it just sounded like somebody was playing with the dog. Playing, they're screaming. Somebody's in the house. Are you telling me these people were awake? Xana was awake and she never screamed as she's being stabbed? You don't know what's going. Oh, bull crap! Bull crap! You had to hear that little lady screaming, especially through the ductworks and in that house. You had to hear the commotion going on and her screaming. Someone, now the other day I was doing a video and someone said, "Well, he might have covered their faces." Well, then they were sleeping. If he walked in and stuck pillows over their heads as he was killing them, then they all were sleeping in bed. How did she get on the floor? I don't understand. It's all crazy. I'm just a YouTube investigator, couch potato. We are not stupid people, but they are trying to make us think we are. Exactly, Miss Debbie Fox. I've been going through it since I was like 2 years old. Excuse me. Yeah. Yeah, I've been at a young age, I've been mind manipulated my whole life. So I understand they want us to think they're trying to use the old Jedi trick on us. You did not see any of that. You did not hear any of that. You did. Shut up. Well, I can't believe there's any politician courts or anything still around in America. I'm surprised we haven't all come together and just wipe these things out. Why do we need this? Why do we need a system that's broke down? Yeah, you hear the dog barking in the ringtone camera, Debbie. Very light and not much at all. Well, Debbie, the problem is they didn't teach the dog to be a watchdog. These people are saying that dog was so friendly. The cops were walking through the house and the dog didn't even bark. The dog wasn't even barking or going crazy. So they didn't train the dog to be like a watchdog. It was a friendly dog. Now, it might have been different if they trained it, to be a watchdog. And as soon as somebody walked in the house that dog didn't know or seen something outside, the dog would just start going crazy and alert people. Something's going on. The dog's barking like crazy. I don't know. That's pretty crazy, though.
Taken down because it would have raised issues around the acoustics. Should it have gone to trial? It just doesn't make sense. This wasn't a fucking silent movie. There was utter brutality in here. Utter brutality. And when you look at it, it also looks like, based on the timeline that they're giving, there just looks to be too much that has happened in the short window of time that it happened. For one person to do it, could one person have done it? And again, don't get me started on little statements that have been made about people potentially being seen in the house naked. We've apparently got Ethan Chapin, who at one point they're saying that he was naked just wearing his socks. Was it Ethan Chapin that they saw walking around the house? Because they've got Kaylee Gonsalves apparently running up and down the stairs. This entire...
Well, who was naked running through the house? When they found Ethan, did he have clothes on? Who was running naked through the house? But then again, that was probably something that came out in the beginning of this case, just like there was somebody passed out in front of the house on the street from drinking, they said. I seen what, Debbie? No, I didn't see you walking through the house naked. This murder case. Good God, woman. If I seen you walking through the house naked, we probably would not be doing this video right now. Meow. But who is walking through the house? Who's giving them reports? Well, I seen some dude walking through the house completely naked, only had his socks on. What do you mean? Were any of these people found naked? Was Ethan naked? Who was the dude walking around in the house naked? Yeah. And you know what? We are going to have cameras everywhere in this country, folks, whether you like it or not. If there's any case that we should promote, drones, unmanned drones driving around at night, watching everything, drones flying in the sky, watching neighborhoods, this will be the perfect case. And if we have it our way, there will be cameras everywhere. We will know exactly who you are if you come on our property. We will know exactly where you went to, what house you went to, what you were driving, if you switched cars. Now, you want to talk about freedoms, but I'm tired of you people crying your little asses off when shit happens so deep, and then you say, "Oh, only if we would have had cameras, Mr. Kramer." Yeah. Yeah. And that's what we're trying to do. But we keep getting you idiots out there that just don't want us to see nothing that you sick pricks do. Let me see what Debbie's saying. Trying to be comic relief. No. No, you're not. You're right. No. No, I know. I would have noticed if you were walking through my house there naked. Excuse me. I thought it was pretty funny. I think you're pretty funny sometimes, but sometimes, boy, you can be a pain in the butt. But anyways, let's get back on the track here.
Situation is a shit show. And again, people just seem to be able to just get their head and shove it up their own arse and just, it's like, la, 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 la. Don't want to listen. Brian did it. Don't say anything. Don't question anything. He did it. It was him. But every single piece of evidence that comes out raises more and more and more questions. And look, I'm not trying to be horrible to people. I'm not even trying to say that Dylan Mortensen and Bethany Funk did something, that they did something to these individuals or involved in the deaths. Now, what I am saying is it's not completely out of the realms of possibility, in my opinion, purely because it doesn't make sense that what you're seeing, they didn't hear or see or you can't have your cake and eat it. Because on one hand, we're saying that these individuals were really scared, and even law enforcement themselves, it was depicted as they were scared, frozen shock phase, which later that fell fucking flat on its face. But literally seeing Xana laying on the floor, seeing her, being able to tell you what she was wearing, how she was laying, but they couldn't see this shit show that we're now being shown behind her. Now, some may say there was too.
Well, I agree with Mr. Harsh Reality. You know, the cop didn't even have to go into the room. He walked down that hallway and stopped right at the door and said, "Oh, shit." How did Hunter go in there and not see that? How did the girls running by didn't see stuff all over and see the girls laying on there? When the cop walks in, he think he's there to help somebody because they're passed out from from drinking so much. And the cop goes up there and says, "What the?" You can hear him in the camera. Say, "What the?" And there's a Xana on the ground laying there, and he turns around and tells Jack, the boyfriend, get out of the house right now. And then he grabs his radio and he calls in a 937 or whatever it is, which probably is a code for murder. A dead person or something. So how does Hunter go in there? Well, we were trying to spare the women of knowing that there was blood already. Yeah, but see, if the police would have known that there's somebody that's deceased probably on the property, the police probably would have entered the house totally different, all gloved up, booties on. They would have entered totally different than what they did reacting to or getting a call of an unresponsive person that's been drinking and passed out. Right? What would I do if I showed up there? I was a cop. No, where's she at, ma'am? We're gonna make sure she's okay. She might have drank too much or whatever. And you go walking in the house and there's a body all cut up in front of you, blood everywhere. And I thought this was a call for an unresponsive person that was drunk. The heck is this? She got blood everywhere. Yeah. And who was naked? Right, but the case is over with, Mr. Kramer. That's what they keep telling me. It's over with. There's no need for you, Stephen, to answer any of these questions. Well, who's reporting there's a naked guy walking around in the house? Did you find Ethan naked? No, sir. He was dressed, had shorts on and everything. Yeah, okay. Well, who the F was walking around? Who's saying there was a naked person? This country is going to learn the hard way. This country is going to learn the hard way. Mind your own business. Mind your own business. Yeah. Till your family's dead, and then all of a sudden you're screaming and knocking on doors. And what happened? I can't believe this happened, and all this and that. And we're tired of it, people. Yes, we can make America 100% safe. We can know exactly who you are, what you're doing all day long. And if you attack somebody, we know exactly who did it. But we live in a country where we're divided. The killer don't want us to see his ugliness. I should say the devil. These are the people that are the killers, that are the organizations trying to kill America, are the ones that are complaining that we want cameras everywhere. You can't, it's against our rights. I can give two shits what the White House says or Congress and Senate. We already know who the killers are and who the associations are and everything. The people that are giving us shit because we want to see everything. I don't care if you're screwing a goat in your backyard. But if you're killing children or women or men or killing citizens or humans, we're going to know what you're doing. How come all the other countries crime? Russia, well, they got cameras everywhere in Russia. Their crime rate is practically nothing. China, well, they got cameras everywhere. Unmanned assault vehicles rolling down the road so they can sleep at night and people not being killed and raped. America, no, that's against our rights. You ain't going to watch us kill these people. And that's your problem, America. And it always has been your problem. And it's going to continue to be a problem in America unless you handle the situation right. They tried to pull that shit here on me. They tried to pull that shit here on me, calling authorities. He's filming outside of his window, cameras and everything. All pissed off and everything. Sent cops here and everything. I told the cop, hey, I got renter's insurance here. I live here. My apartment's been broken in before. I've come home and the dang door handle fall off. I got cameras. There ain't no law stating that. And there was actually people that live here that were complaining. I was like, I told the cop, see, these pricks don't want you to see what they're doing. And then finally, the one cop came back here and he said, no, Mr. Kramer, you should have cameras in your apartment. It's your right, as long as you're not pointing it in people's windows. I said, I never did that. I never did that. I got a camera in my apartment and I got a camera facing outside. And these people are trying to tell me I can't do that. I can't protect myself. No weapons, only they're allowed weapons. No cameras, only they're allowed cameras. And he's like, oh, we see what's going on now. Yeah. Now, granted, the people that manage this place is wanted for murder, or the CEO or whatever in South Bend, which is like 35 minutes from here, 40 minutes away. But I say F you, Indiana. And any corrupt cop or any corrupt organization that don't want us to watch your evilness. Let me catch a witch doing shit in the woods out here. Let me catch one of you pricks, you sorcerers. You ain't making it to nowhere. Because we're sick of the bullshit. You get the message, Trump? The Lori Dave or whatever's that case is going on right now where she killed a cop, they're saying, John the cop. Turns out that one of the investigators of the federal government ended up ditching his phone on a military base. Now, you pricks want to drag Mother Green and the ass-kicking machine into your death cover-up, devil worshiping shit. Go right ahead. We'll open fire on every single one of you. A federal agent trying to ditch phones and SIM cards on one of my Mother Green ass-kicking machine bases. You got problems, America. You got serious problems.
Too dark. Well, it weren't dark, too dark for them not to be able to see her laying on the floor. And they're saying that they thought that she was passed out through drink. Well, if that's the truth, then why wouldn't you go up to her and make sure that she weren't laying on her fucking back and put her on the side so if she did sick, she don't choke on her own vomit? If you just think that she's laying on the floor because she's passed out because of drink, why not walk around the house and go and get some of the other people who you knew was there because you'd heard them running up and down the stairs? Go and get them for help. Why would you not go and get people who are in the house for help? Why would you wait that long? And why would you call people external to the house and then claim that you don't know who's in the house? While simultaneously claiming that you know what time people came home and that people were in the house. The story just don't make sense. And it's almost like we have a similar situation to the Madeleine McCann case. We have a group of people who the public looking in can look at everything and think, hold on a second, this don't add up. What we're being told, what we're being pushed, don't add up.
Well, exactly, it don't add up. You remember the police call to the police, Xana, or not Xana, Bethany and Dylan? Do you remember what the cops said to her? Is she still unresponsive? Well, we don't know. I think so. And the cop says, go in the house and check. And Bethany or Dylan, one of them says, come on, guys, we got to go inside the house and see if they're okay or breathing or whatever. They go in the house and check on her, and they come out and they ask the girls, is she still responsive? Is she still passed out? And the girls say, no, she's not waking up. There's still not one time they mention there's blood everywhere. Not one time to dispatch do they say this is something very bad. Someone's been murdered. Something very bad has happened. No, the cop, the dispatch tells the girls to go back in the house and see if they can wake her up and if she's responsive. And you can hear Bethany on the phone or Dylan saying, come on, guys, we got to go in the house and check on them. And they still said, no, they're not responsive. They're passed out. Nothing up. There's blood everywhere. That's all documented on recording. Police dispatch of the police telling them to go back in the house and check on her. It's daylight out. They can see clear as day. Not one of them says anything about blood. Not one. Not even Hunter, when he comes back down and grabs the phone for him. The cop says, what's going on? Is she responsive? And Hunter says, nope. No, not one mention from Hunter. It's a bloody mess up there. Get people here right away. None of them. None of them. If they would have called the police as soon as they seen someone all dressed in black leave the house, there's a good chance that the police on their way there might have spotted a vehicle driving at high speed away from there and pulled them over. There's a good chance if they would have called the police as they're hearing screams and people saying there's people in the house, there's someone in the house. If they would have called the police, there's a good chance that the police would have got there before he left the house. There's a good chance there was a squad car a couple blocks away and would have been there before they even left the house. Bull crap. All bull crap. And this whole system, this whole society, this whole thing we live in is bull crap. Yeah, that Debbie says they needed 8 hours napping first and pass out. How do you pass? You don't hear nothing in the house. You're screaming out their names. You're calling their phones, no answer. You know you've seen someone in the house dressed all in black with a ski mask. And you just sit there, let's talk about this. Maybe it was more like, let's plan this out and see what's going on. You tell them you've seen someone in the house all dressed in black. Okay? I'll tell them that I didn't know what was going on. I thought it was the dog barking. Yeah, screw this. Your whole system's broke down. Your whole reality is broke down in America, and I'm going to change it. And it's going to piss a lot of people off, and we might have Armageddon, but we're going to get America back on track. And it'll take the citizens, the ones that pay for everything. Oh, we can handle this, Mr. President Trump. I can get a team of millions of people together, and we'll attack these people in a heartbeat. Give me the equipment. Give the citizens the armory. Give us the jets, the planes, the tanks, the automobiles, and we'll do the job for you. It won't be nice, but we'll get it done. We'll make sure this country's safe. And I'm tired of hearing the government. We just can't do that. I can't get my hands dirty like that. Oh, you can't. Well, that's great. Citizens can. But, you know, that's a whole nother video for another day. I'm going to stay on topic, as Debbie said.
But if these lot just stay quiet and don't say anything, then what can we say? What can we do? Law enforcement is behind them. They're covering things up. They're hiding things. At the very least, they're hiding who the DNA belongs to that was found there. Protective orders. Not
protective orders. Now, there's a little rumor that Jack's family was high up in the politics and everything in another country or something. You know, don't that suck? Well, Mr. Kramer, we know exactly who it is, but I'm really sorry to say, sir, that, well, they're high up in politics and everything, and we just can't reveal their name or even arrest them. Yeah, we're dropping a fucking nuke on your country. You're all casualties of war now. How you like that? What do you mean you can't reveal his name or the DNA? Well, sir, he's high up in the enchilada. You mean the prick that works for me because I pay his fucking bills? Are you talking about that guy that works for me? I'm the boss of all bosses. Is that what you're telling me, government? That you can't reveal one of yourselves? Yeah, we'll see you in the battlefield.
Wanting us to know anything about it. It's just, to me, there's a lot of silence. There's a lot of people being quiet, while simultaneously a lot of people, a lot of money changing hands and people getting rich off it. And a story that doesn't add up.
Well, Mr. Harsh Reality, you are 100% right there. Folks, I posted Mr. Harsh Reality's channel in my chat, in my description. Go check this bloke out. I like him. He's pretty good. He covers cases pretty good. You know, we're way ahead of a lot of people. You know, this channel was on this case before a lot of these people were. That's all I can say. I know I exaggerate a lot because I'm in the movie thing. So, you know, all this stuff, me talking, acting like a big tough guy, whatever. You know, if I had the shoes, if I had the equipment, if I had the money, it'd be a different story. I don't. You know? Now, some people say I would be a good leader, a good president, because I won't fall for people's shit. I won't take shit. You know? There will be drones flying everywhere. There will be unmanned vehicles filming everything. You know, there will be a lot of stuff going on. You know, there will be a citizens military, I guess. I don't know. Citizens police. Now, oh, well, we already have police. No, you got police that work for a city or a town. You don't have police that work for the citizens. And that's why this shit got covered up, because now one of theirs is involved and we can't reveal who it is. Yeah, well, there's your problem. There's your problem with America. And let me see what Debbie Fox is saying. Thank you for this one, Johnny. I needed it because I thought it was only one not believing this. Oh, you thought you... Well, we're not believing that. I don't think anybody's believing that these people in the house, the survivors, didn't hear anything when a camera 50 feet away outside of the house is picking up everything. And we're not believing when the police dispatch tells the girls to go in and check on Xana, and they act like, oh no, she's not responding. She's not one mention of blood, nothing. We ain't buying it no more. We're not buying anything anymore. No. They tore the house down right away. Yeah, something ain't right. You know, all the stories of one of the girls' mother was arrested for drug dealing and was a drug dealer, and this could have been a drug hit. And all this stuff that was in the beginning of this case is all disappeared. You know, It's all disappeared, and you can't find them videos anymore. They're gone. They took them down. They took a bunch of mine down. And that's what happens when you get too close to the truth. Right? Maybe one of these girls knew something about somebody that they didn't want to get out. Maybe something was involved with drugs. Maybe. You know how I know that? Well, because there was a dollar bill that was rolled up. Now, being that I used to do the old devil's dandruff, what do you do when you ain't got a straw to snort the devil's dust? You roll up a dollar bill. Now we have a dollar bill in the crime scene photo that's rolled up and a credit card, what would look to be maybe some white residue on there. But this has nothing to do with drugs, Mr. Kramer. Well, we don't know that. We don't know that. We have no idea. And don't call me a liar because the evidence is in the crime scene photos. You got a lighter on the desk, you got a credit card, and you have a rolled up dollar bill. Now, I'm dumb, but I ain't that dumb. Debbie says, I bet she couldn't sleep at night. Maybe. That's why they're all up till 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning. And what's the number one drug on colleges? Speed, cocaine, uppers, pills, 357 pills. You remember them 357s? You used to, they were pills, but people were actually, back in my day, they were crushing them up and snorting them. It could have been anything. It could have been Xanax. It could have been anything they were snorting. Well, this is a dramatic channel. We always get dramatic. Do I mean anything, any harm to anybody? No, it's what this channel does. My apologies for it. But the clues are bouncing right through these people and they don't even see it. Now, Mr. Harsh Reality was saying, how the heck does he get in his car? But there's no evidence there. Well, you have to remember, sir, they didn't catch him for 2 weeks afterwards, 3 weeks or whatever, a month. That whole time he could have been cleaning his car. He might not have killed again because he was worried about getting caught. So he cleans his car like crazy. That's possible. It's possible, like you said, sir, he got out and changed his clothes before he got in the car. Very possible. Take the clothes off, you throw them in a bag. You got clothes on underneath it, or even a pair of sweatpants in the trunk or whatever. You throw the sweatpants on, another pair of shoes, and a sweat jacket, and you're out of there. Numerous things. He could have had the front seats covered with garbage bags. Right? He gets home, wherever he's going, he takes the garbage bags out, takes the clothes, throws them in the garbage bags, gets rid of everything. Well, they cut a deal, but they didn't get any evidence from him. I wouldn't have cut any deal unless he produced evidence. Unless he produced a murder weapon and clothes and wrote down or explained on tape, on video recorder, exactly what happened, why, where, when, how long did he plan this, yada, yada, yada. If it all would have added up, then I would have cut a deal. Okay, we'll take the death penalty off of the table. I don't think he took a shower there, Debbie, because there's no evidence in the showers of blood. I don't think there was any evidence. We didn't see any evidence of photos of the bathroom Have you seen any photos, Debbie, of the showers covered in aluminum? I'm gonna have to look and see if there's any showers that they if they sprayed the showers with aluminum. Exactly. Who was naked walking around in the house? Exactly. Was it the killer? Well, in order for him to do this, and then I'm going to take a shower. How does he forget? Oh, I forgot. There's two other people in the house. There's two other people in the house, but I'm not going to worry. No, there ain't no cops coming or anything. I think I'm going to jump in the shower and take a nice shower. Before I leave here. Are you effing crazy? And for him to do that, you've got to have help. You got to be reassured that no one is calling the police until you're gone. To draw pictures and blood and all this and castrate people and decapitate them, then jump in the shower and clean off. You have to be 100% guaranteed nobody is coming to that house until you leave. And how do you do that when you got two scared, petrified girls in the house still that you don't know if they're calling the police or if they took off out the door running for help? And you're going to take a shower? Are you kidding me? Debbie Fox is saying he did a naked kill. Well, then guess what? Dylan's lying. Because why did she say he was all dressed in black? Why didn't she say he was completely naked? He had bushy eyebrows and he was hung like a rhino. I think he was holding the knife in his penis. She didn't. He was all dressed in black, complete blacked out, with a ski mask on. Wouldn't she said something different? I don't know. There was some guy walking through my house completely naked, only had a pair of socks on. It just ain't adding up. It ain't adding up. Debbie says maybe he got dressed in the back or in black. Maybe. But don't you think they would have heard the shower going? What did you guys hear? We heard a bunch of screaming, dogs barking. It sounded like people were arguing or fighting or something. Then we heard the shower going after we couldn't get a hold of anybody, and we heard people screaming, and it sounded like they were dying or something. We heard the shower go on for about 10 minutes. And then we didn't hear anything. Are you kidding me? They're kidding us, right, Debbie? Debbie Fox said, I've heard of that. Well, maybe. No bloody clothes. Did we hear anything about blood in the shower? Did we see any photos yet of the showers covered in luminol looking for blood? Did we see any drains open in the showers of them looking for blood and spraying the drains for blood in the showers? Did we see any of that? Probably not. All right, we are coming up on 3 hours. I think I'm going to end this. We might do another video tonight. Who knows? Who knows? I think I might have a couple more pieces of pizza. Pizza Hut. That pizza tasted pretty good. So shout out to Pizza Hut. Now they want me to work for them, Debbie. One of the big shots wants to know if I want to be a forensic guy. I guess they say I connect the dots pretty good. We'll see. I don't know. How much they make? How much do they make a year? I don't know. Maybe. Maybe I'll think about it. I got this movie thing going on. I'm trying to get off the ground. I got my vagina cookie factory that I'm trying to get off the ground. I got all these ideas I'm trying to. I got the film festival too. Can't chew on these nutsacks. Film festival I'm trying to get off the ground. Trying to get all this stuff off the ground. It just ain't. It's too much. Debbie Fox says, well, they thought, or well, they could have cleaned the showers. They had 8 hours. Nope, she's right. She's right. When there's a whole bunch of people in the house, and 8 hours go by, yeah, but don't you think there would be traces of blood in there, in the drains? If they didn't show up in the shower, but there was evidence of a cleanup. Don't you think why they were tearing the house down, they would have took the shower drains out? Wait a minute, we need that shower drain to see if there's any blood in there in the pipes. No, they didn't do any of that. I don't know. All right. I want to thank everyone for showing up and watching. Boy, this was a long one. I hope I didn't upset anybody, but what can you do? I mean, we've been putting up with this crap for how many years now? Going back and forth with it. They can't reveal evidence, they can't reveal stuff. There's high profile people involved. Jack's family supposedly involved in politics and stuff, and a big donator to the college. Do you think maybe that's why they didn't release anyone else's name, is because some of these people might have been huge donators to the college or mixed up in politics? You got photos of Jack hunting with knives. I think Jack even had himself a Bowie knife or whatever for hunting and stuff. He had all kinds of knives. Yeah, Debbie says they tore the house down and buried it 6 feet deep. Yeah. I think they didn't even bury it. I think they hauled it out on dump trucks. Yeah, it's just too much for me. It's just really too much for me to even, and this takes hope away from us. Here we are, we live in the greatest country in the entire world, but yet they can't even reveal evidence. There was DNA from another male there. Who was it? I can't tell you. What? Yeah, it's just I can't tell. I can't. They're big donators and everything. I can't tell. You haven't get. But you know what, folks? If you look throughout the history of America and these people that have money, they ain't never doing time for nothing, even if they slaughter all of us. And I'm starting to believe some of these bigwigs. The more money you got, you ain't never gonna do no prison time or no matter what. Yeah, well, we're done with this stuff. Excuse me. Yeah, I can see we're done with it, and that would probably explains all the people that are recorded, which they're not letting you folks know, that are moving out of the country. That probably explains it. It's no wonder people are saying, no, let them come in. We're running out of white people. They're all leaving the country. It's crazy. What? Yeah, they're all leaving. There ain't there ain't nothing in this shit. It's all same as it was that it ever was. It's the same thing, folks, as it always has been. The powerful, the rich run everything, and it is the poor, the idiots, the stupid, the older people, whatever, that flip the bill. Well, I don't know. We're going to end this thing. You folks have a great night. Let me see what Debbie said before I leave here. Survivors, you're kidding me, right? I was like, what? Yeah, Debbie. Yeah. Yeah, it's crazy. All right, we're going to end this. I might be back here with more information if as it unfolds. Maybe not. I don't know. It's just crazy. I'm under attack. We're all under attack by demonic spirits or some kind of a thing. Our families are under attack and possessed. It's just crazy. We're starting to connect the dots that it's these rich, powerful politics, whoever they are the ones that are holding me down. And you folks got to go. You got to go. Oh, you're welcome, Deb. You know, we're just trying to cover and make content here and cover cases and everything. And I hope someone would do it if I was killed and murdered or my family was killed or murdered. But that's the problem. Everybody belongs to an organization or something where they just can't talk about it or mind your own business. And it's no wonder America is the greatest country for body counts. For the dead, yeah. Yeah, they're number one now. So think on that. Sleep on that out there in the Oval Office. You folks have a great night. God bless. Thank you very much, Debbie, for stopping in. It was a great live Johnny thing. Oh, thank you. I hope I didn't over dramatize this or whatever they call it, make it dramatic or whatever. But you folks have a great night. I'll be back.